This is the Alliance Dispatch. Do you read us?
Hi, welcome back to episode 40 of the Alliance Dispatch, fresh from Birmingham, almost at Manchester. That was many months ago. Obviously, I'm the only one fresh back. These two losers didn't come because of real-life commitments. And the two that did go are, I think one of them's played Dragon Age Origins, and the other one is playing as Zatu. So
Solo?
Solo.
Little solo, ain't he?
Yeah.
Probably only 4 people there.
Easy weekly win. True. Maybe they're both at home playing Dragon Age Origins, which is a byproduct of the weekend, which I guess I'll talk about at some point. But I'll keep it short and sweet because I think anyone really cares about top 8. I didn't make top 8. I made 37th. Still not making prizing. 201 person tournament and prizing starts at 32. It's a bit stingy. It is.
But it is quite top heavy, isn't it?
Yeah. It's also, though, hilariously not as top heavy as London was, where it's like 24 cases or something to the winner.
That was a little silly.
That was. But then like this winner just gets a case. And you get 6 packs, I think, for top 32, and that's the same for top 16. So, you know, it was only top 8 that really mattered. And unfortunately, I got played against Pierre de Fonck round 1, and I almost had him, and then he put me in the bin.
What could have been?
What could have been? Cad Green. Now there's 2 of them. Wasn't the dream I needed it to be. Just playing 3 TIE Phantoms was in fact what I needed to do to beat him in almost both games. He just didn't have an answer to TIE Phantom in the first game, and I just killed him with it. It was exciting stuff.
And I guess, like, when you spoke to us about that game, you think you lost because you played your CAD? Is that right?
I think so. Round 2, after I had played my Vigilance, I just kind of deployed CAD on 6, going, just deploy my leader, why not? And then he just went like top target, like swing, or like open fire, and then open fire, or like, you know, he just top targeted and then killed CAD the turn he came out. He managed to swing for 4, but when you're healing for 12 off top target, that's going to give you the leverage you need to push through. Yeah. Where I had 2 TIE Phantoms on the board at that point, because he had made an opening one of them. So I was doing 8 damage a turn. If he hadn't healed the 12, I'm not entirely sure if that would have given me enough, but it would have got me a lot closer to 30 to maybe then be able to find something just to eke out that extra damage.
I mean, if you had surprise strikes instead of CAD in your hand at that time, you win, right?
I don't have surprise strikes in my deck, so it wouldn't have helped.
What?
I know.
No.
Well, that's why then.
It's all about, here's my big unit that you can't handle, and my first game was against Hard Control, who can obviously handle any big unit I play. And was pretty much the only real hard control deck there, right? There's that double blue Palp, which was also pretty hard control, but when I saw Pierre's name round 1 on table 5, I was like, oh, not like this. That's not how you want to start your day. And then he said he was playing Bosk Blue, and I was like, great, hard counter. Match 1. Yeah. At least he's a good player, so it won't affect my strength of schedule. And when I won game 1, I was very surprised. And then when I lost it, I was like, that's pretty much how it should go. I was playing, you know, Cad Green, no ramp. Just my ramp was now there's 2 of them, lots of 5 drops, lots of 7 drops. I did the sneaky tech of putting in Dryden Voss in my sideboard, so I had that in game 2 and game 3. And he didn't see one until game 3, and he was like, yeah, I thought you might be running those. I'm like, how? He's awful. Like, how does anyone expect the Dryden Voss? But I didn't manage to Dryden Voss anything all day, which was big sad.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not once. Yeah. Most of the games, they didn't really go that late. Like, the games I was winning on, like, flip CAD, dead. Like, and that was it. It didn't really go, or I'd flip you know, a maul and then just get it through. Wasn't really getting up into the, you know, the big 10, 12 resource games. The only one where it was close was a game I lost against Double Blue Ray, which did end up getting quite high into the resources, and I did have my Dragon Vosses in there, but he was playing double blue and just loads of removal. So every time I played CAD, he just died that turn. And then not trying to, and I had the reckless. I didn't end up hitting the relentless pursuits in because I didn't have any units big enough to capture his big threats. Because once CAD's dead, my deck kind of tops out at 5s, and the 7s I've got, I don't really want to be playing relentless pursuit because they're not bounty hunters. Well, CAD's a bounty hunter, but you spend 3 to capture it, give him a shield, and then you attack with CAD, and then suddenly you're giving it back to them and drawing 2 cards. That doesn't feel good. So I lost that one, and that was like round 5 or something. So at that point, I'd gone 2-3-2. So I was like, okay, I can't get into the top 8 anymore because if I had won all my games and only losing to Thok, then there was a chance I could have made top 8. And then I kind of had clean sailing matchup wise up until the finals where it was just Kira Green. Which is just like Busk Blue was a complete write-off. I just got 2-0'd fairly quickly both games. Just played a Snoke, and Snoke just ruins my deck because I can't kill it. Like not even if Snoke's the only thing on board, I can play a Maul, ping Snoke, hit him for 5, and kill Snoke with a Maul. And that feels awful. And then he just plays Palp's Return and gets him back for 5 or something. So, not great. Considering Ethan, who we went with, he was playing against an old mate of mine called Ollie, who was on Quinlan Green. I was like, I'd much rather have the Quinlan Green matchup, and he would have much rather have had the Kira matchup. So we were like, only if we had swapped, we both could have got 6-2s, possibly. Like, obviously, last round is going to be against good opponents and all that, but having bad matchups is not what you want. And that's how Thonk did so well. Well, not just because he got good matchups throughout the day, apart from his last 2 games, which I think we'll have a brief discussion about. His top 4 and finals matches were something. But he even said himself in his after action report, or whatever you want to call it, like he just got really good matchups. He picked the right deck to fight the field. Like I would never have expected Anakin to be the most played deck that weekend. And also, Gary?
I was going to say, I don't think he played an Anakin.
He didn't.
He didn't play an Anakin, and I think he played 1 Sabine.
Yeah, but I think what I was going to say though is Anakin didn't even hit the 50% win rate. So I'm guessing what happened with the Anakins is they were down here, and then Thonk was up here, right? So he played a lot of Cad Banes. Like I'm surprised that Cad Red did so well. I think there was only 2 Cad Greens there, which was me and a guy who finished over 100th or something. I would have just thought that Django. Yeah, I just would have thought Django would have been the straight up better deck to play, but in yellow red. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, well, there were 2 in the top 8. I think they're both quite different as well, right? Like they both ping, but with CAD you're pinging for damage. With Django you're pinging for disruption, right? So,
yeah, I did play 1 or 2 CAD reds. I played a Django red who wasn't a space deck. He was like a CAD ground deck in red, and then I also played a CAD red. And both times I just thought, well, my top end's better than yours. We're gonna get there, and then I'm just gonna be like CAD Maul, CAD Maul, CAD Maul, and I'll win the game. And I did both times. So I wonder if I had hit, one of the CAD reds in the final round or something. I could have, I think you can afford to lose one game to luck, and unfortunately, my luck didn't hold out round 1 because I ended up playing the winner of the event, and my luck didn't hold out in the last round because I played a hard counter, and I should have probably beaten that Ray mono blue Ray, one of my games I just bricked, the other one I ran him over, and the other game he ran me over. Well, didn't run me over. It went quite long because he's a double blue deck, but he just he had that new when you play it, defeat a unit that has 2 or less health. Can't remember what it's called.
Gunship.
But it's got grit on it, and he ended up pinging some damage on it, or I pinged some damage on it, and it just for like 3 turns in a row, it just went 7 to base, 7 to base, 7 to base, and I was just like,
yeah.
That's done it.
If he has that on the board, playing against Cad,
Yeah.
he's not going to put anything else on the board, is he?
No.
Because you're going to play something, he'll go, yes, please.
Yeah, I think that's probably what happened as well. I probably just kept pinging it slowly and surely, and I just didn't draw any of my black suns, which would have helped immensely of getting rid of it. But I've only got 2 in my deck, so just needed a waylay or McClunky or something, but not to be done. But overall, great event. It's probably the smoothest one they've run out of the 3. Haven't been to all 3. We didn't have any delays.
Yeah, it did seem that way.
But it did seem pretty. Yeah, me and Stephen were watching.
Yeah. Venue was, I don't know if you've ever been to the National Conference Centre, but it's expensive and underground, so it's whatever. I've got a cup of tea Saturday morning. It was £3.
Daylight robbery.
Daylight robbery. I couldn't believe it.
Take your own tea bags, and that's for hot water.
Yeah. Although I tried to ask for a glass of water at one point, and they're like, "We've got bottles," and I'm like, "Can I not get a cup?" And they were like, "No," and I was like, "Okay."
I mean,
£6 for the cup or £3 for the bottle.
Yeah. So
that's
and
a bit wacky.
yeah, and unfortunately, like where it is that you can't go anywhere to get anything else. So you have to go in prepared in the morning, which I had not done.
Every time I've been, it was for a business event, so business card.
Yeah. So next time, I think that's my takeaway is the next like whatever these are called launch event, release event, tournament is take some bottles of drink and take some snacks with me because god damn, it's quite expensive. Although Manchester was fine because there was an Aldi outside.
Yeah,
that was good. And London there's just corner shops that you could just pop to, or Tesco's you could just pop to. But this one, very middle of the country, good access, but poor access to anything locally because it's literally off the motorway. So, other than that, really good event. Looking forward to the next one in March, April.
Hopefully I can do that one.
Yeah, I will say so like on the Sunday they had the super sealed and the super draft and the super constructed and all of that again. And I think the transportation links are too good for Birmingham because there was almost nobody there on Sunday. I think
really?
the
just go home.
Yeah, like the super draft had 2 pods of 7, so I have 14 people. Super sealed had more. I'm not sure the super constructed even fired. Pass. But I did meet you'll enjoy this, Stephen. Let me just stand up and grab this folder because that's my bike. I met the artist who drew Maul, and I got him to sign my hyperspace Maul.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool.
Showcase, mate. Can't sign that.
He didn't do the art for the showcase, so that would have been a bit weird.
That would have been weird.
Yeah.
Can you sign this one, please?
Yeah, I know your name's not on it, but so I might try and put together a Maul deck, but I probably won't because I was sitting in the car on the way home looking at red, green, villain 2-drops and 3-drops, and they're all rubbish.
It's a tough. Like I've tried.
Yeah.
And it's tough.
Yeah.
I think it's fun once you get to the big lads. It's a fun
like
deck.
4, 5, 6s.
Yeah. You just need to kind of ride that wave, basically.
Yeah.
I think double red is where the fun is.
Sure.
where the fun begins.
That's where the fun begins.
Always.
Yeah, so before we go diving into alternate decks, have you got some stats from the weekend, Stephen? Mr. Sage's stats.
I do. It's the SS
Inside
section.
yes.
You stop.
What's that over there?
Are we the bad guys?
Are we the bad guys?
So, yeah, so there was, I think, 11 tournaments that I've got details for. Let's have a look. 11. Sorry, there was 12, but the 12th one was, I think it was in Spain, and I didn't realise that I hadn't included it in my funky stats until about 5 minutes ago when you said, "Hey, you got the stats ready for the pod." So these stats do not include the Spanish one, but I'll talk about the Spanish one afterwards because it was quite funky.
Okay.
So yeah, the kind of breakdown, not much changed in that kind of top 5 of stuff that was represented. Django Tarkintown was still the most represented one in any kind of tournament that supplied a top 8 or a top 4, depending on the size. Still at 16%, hovering around that mark.
Sure.
And then Sabine ECL and Anakin Blue were joint second. So a little drop down from Sabine and a little rise from Anakin. So they were both on 12.5%. So I think that's probably kind of expected, right?
Yeah.
I imagine some aggro players are given the new Anakin a go.
Yeah, given that little look-see. And then Han 2 ECL and Bosk Blue showed up 3 times. But I guess they're both quite good counters for those aggro-y type things. You go wide with Han.
Yeah.
And Bosk Blue, as we saw, it's just a good matchup into the kind of rise of Anakin and that mid-range stuff that Django has.
Yeah.
And then it was really split between all sorts of stuff. Nothing too overly funky. Obi-Wan ECL just missed out. Yeah, just missed out on being like in the top 5.
Right.
So that's interesting. I guess if there's lots of ping stuff knocking about.
Yeah, being able to heal the one before you get Tarkintown is pretty good.
It's quite strong.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I admit I enjoyed playing him in that draft, and it did feel quite good doing that kind of healing stuff. And when you play him out as a leader, you don't have to heal one of your own things.
Yeah.
So if you want to kill something and you don't have anything your side of the board, you can do funky stuff and heal one of your opponent's units to kill something. So
yeah,
it's quite interesting. And I imagine the fact that that people are playing him with green is for General Saber.
Yeah, Generals. I've got an OB General's Blade deck brewing in the back of my mind.
General's Blade. That's it.
Yeah, probably the green Jedi as well. Doesn't take damage when she has coordinate.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite interesting. Going to be interesting to see kind of. I think there's like pretty certain there's another big thing in the States this coming weekend.
Sure.
I keep seeing about it.
I think so.
Whether they'll. It's quite interesting being in the KTOD server and just seeing them like, what's with all the Europeans playing hard control, like because they don't like it.
No,
they don't. So it'll be interesting to see whether they adapt to that or whether they go the other way and go right. Let's get rid of this and just super aggro and play lots of different things. So it'll be interesting. Nothing really of nothing that's kind of like that was funky. But yeah, it looks like everything's starting to get kind of at least one in the top 8. Like there was a Krennic.
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's still like really wide. We're in that mental
win the
period
mountain
where
pot.
everyone's just, playing around. But the wins, the tournament wins out of the 11, there were 10 different winners.
Right.
2 people
Can't
won with
that, can you?
Down.
Yeah.
It's just and then so Han won yellow, Sabine ECL, Obi won ECL, Cad Bane, Tarkin Town, Krennic green, Django green, Boss blue, Yoda blue, Quinlan green.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
everything's really good.
Yeah, it's like when that's something I'll say about my 8 rounds of Swiss at Birmingham, almost at Manchester again, is I didn't play the same hero twice all day. 6 different heroes.
That's
8 different heroes. Sorry.
Cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because you expect to have at least 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Right.
And the same. I didn't play any Anakins or Sabines all day.
Where were they?
Either, considering I lost game 1 and then I was submarining, lost game 4 and then I was submarining and lost my last game, they're either all below me or all above me. But I was hovering at around like table 40 to 30 most of the day. So I was in that kind of 60 to 80th place kind of thing. So like fairly, in the lower half of the top half of players. If that really makes sense. So I don't know where they were. I'm guessing maybe they're all just above me and then all just tanked out at the end. I don't know. I would love to have seen either of them because I feel like I have a much better matchup into them than I do bloody Kira Green. So hey ho, next one. Maybe I'll get my luck. I'll get my luck at the next event and I will get higher than a top 32. Hopefully.
You'll get there. So the Spanish thing, the Spanish tournament. That they look like quite as they are. They tend to be like pretty big tournaments in Spain. How many people was it? Does it say? Oh no, this one, 37 players. So there's still quite a nice chunk. And the top 8 was Palp Blue at 8th. And then 2 Palp Yellows in 6th and 7th. Palp 3 Blue.
Okay.
I want to have a look at that because that's interesting that someone's managed to get top 8 with that. Django Green, which I would imagine was very similar to your Cad Green.
Yeah.
Han 2 ECL, Sabine ECL, and Han 2 Blue took it.
Okay. It's interesting to see that Han 2 Blue still got it.
I get like dumping a Luke in a crate.
It's pretty good.
Did it get anything new?
Really good, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Did it get anything new? You can play Chiaramundi as a 5/5 on early. Like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
He draws you 2. And...
Oh, I've got the list here. There is no set 3 cards in this list.
Sure. Just like most of the Sabines on Saturday were not running. You might have a Yelandin to give Sabine 1 extra health, but then that's really slow and not aggressive in any way, so it doesn't feel like it's worth doing.
No, not even in the events. Oh no, sorry, perilous position. He's got 2 perilous positions in there.
I mean, that card is good.
Yeah. He's got 3 Poes, 2 Obi-Wans, 3 Lukes, 2 Maces, a Chewbacca, and 2 crates.
Sure.
Like, if you're dropping them early, you've got the right curve, and
don't have an answer.
And your opponent just can't answer them, then you go down. I mean, fair enough. It was always a good deck in set 2. Like, I don't think anything wildly would have changed to make it any worse, other than all the pinging and all the Tarkin Towns. I thought would have maybe clutched out, but maybe the Spanish don't play Tarkin Town. Who knows? The Spanish are crazy. Having played at one of the national events back in Destiny days, nuts.
I think they just seem to, like in every game, they just seem to have their own vibe and meta, isn't it? Like I can't.
What's the name of the mountains? No, it's not Pyrenees. Is it Pyrenees? What's the mountain range between France and Spain?
Oh, it does begin with P.
Whatever it's called. It
Yeah.
keeps all the European lettuce out and just lets them like fester.
Just cook.
It lets them cook in their own little Mediterranean sun.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's the stats section.
Okay.
I'll have some once I've pulled my finger out with the editing. We'll have like some real cool German hard trance to put us into that.
Some Ramstein mixed with something else. Yeah. Or you could get that. I don't know if any of you haven't played Space Marine 2 yet. There's this one scene where a commissar stood in the tank and he's giving this like really big speech about Cadians and how great they are, and then all the guardsmen hit a salute at the end. But when you watch it in German, it hits real different. So maybe just get that clip and get that clip and stick it in maybe for the old SS section.
No, it's like the scene in. Is it the Rise of Skywalker?
Oh, when Hux is going.
Yeah. Somebody's done that in German. And
sure.
It's like, oh god. Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah. Just as they're firing Starkiller base. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I think that kind of wraps up events-wise then. So I think the last thing we really wanted to speak about was how amazing streaming and timing top cuts is. I didn't watch the stream, so I'm gonna let you two start with this because I was just playing all day.
Yeah, like the stream was really good.
Right.
Like it was probably one of the better ones, if not the best one. Definitely out that's been done from a British tournament, and maybe kind of so far. Like the guys were there at the venue. The Abo and I've completely forgotten the other guy's name. That's his Discord name, by the way. That's very rude of me that I keep forgetting his real name. You can tell that they're both very passionate SWU players as well. Like they were happy.
Yeah, they were loving it.
Yeah, they were happy as pigs in shit. Like, and I think they chose like a really good selection of games to watch as well. Like they purposefully picked good. They tried to pick
good matchups.
Yeah. And I think I guess like one of the problems with streams, and it is tough, is to kind of keep the screen with the content on the screen up to date with what's happening on the board. Because like with Michael's game, everyone was like, "Oh, Michael's fucked up because he's clearly not been doing his ping damage from his Fighters for Freedom."
Right. But he had been.
But he had been like
everything was happening way too quick.
Yeah, and he was like, "No, It was just the score must have been wrong on the screen and stuff like that." So,
sure.
He no doubt had a bit of a rep for being an absolute noob for forgetting his Fighters for Freedom.
Losing their mind.
Yeah, we all know Big Baller Mike. Wouldn't forget such a thing.
He would not. That's a top 13 player from Manchester, people. Come on.
Top 13 player from Manchester, yeah. But I think, and they had a judge at the table, which I think is a really good call for a big tournament like that when they are streaming, because something that, and this goes back from when I used to stream for X-Wing. Our general rule of thumb at a tournament was we can't intervene. Like we're very much like the BBC Wildlife film crew. Like, when you see the
penguins
jumping out the river, it's like we can't intervene. It's just how it happens. But there has been a lot of, and I've noticed it a lot in this game and just games in general. Like people will see something on stream and it just derails the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is happening. Need to stop the game. And I think they did quite well managing that.
Yeah.
Because they had a judge on the table. But there have been past events where streams haven't managed that very well. And Like they've tried to get in touch with somebody at the store because the person doing the commentary isn't actually there. And
doing it
it's
remote,
like, I don't know
or
what the rules are.
yeah,
like what are the rules?
yeah, and I think
If something posts on stream.
yeah, I think though, those mistakes that happen, that people sit there because they're being streamed and they're not doing anything else, and can pay attention to the game and catch these little things. They happen all the time, and you might sit there and be like, I never do something like that, but you do. Everyone does. Will flip a dice, like they'll be like, I'll take 3 damage, and they'll bump it up by 2, not on purpose, just because that's just what happened. Or they'll draw an extra card, and and you put it back. Like it happens all the time. But as soon as you've got 50 people in Twitch chat, although I think this event had like 400 viewers pretty constantly, was it?
400 at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
people feel like the integrity of the game has been lost because someone's made a mistake. When with the other 100 games that are happening the other side of the little screen, they're happening there too, but because it's not on stream, no one cares.
Yeah, 500 people watching it.
Yeah. So I think having a judge on the table is good, just to keep the game state going, but also there's not a judge at every other table. The streaming table isn't anywhere near as important as any other game that's going on, unless it's Top Cut, and then only then is technically it's the final that's the most important, because both top 4 games are equally as important as each other, but only one of them gets streamed.
Wow.
Well,
not this time. This is another thing that I kind of found interesting, because they were like, cool, we've got time to actually show you both semi-finals. That's cool. There shouldn't have been a time limit. That's the case. If they were going to show both, then they shouldn't have had a time, basically, because the reason you have a time is so that all the games finish at the same time and you can move the tournament along.
Yeah.
But if you take that out, then there maybe shouldn't have been a time limit.
I was under the impression that Top Cuts in Premier events didn't have time limits, but did they change the rules again?
They did.
They
when
changed
we went to
it.
Manchester.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it went to 75.
Okay.
Yeah, because Alpha was the first tournament that I played in where they were like, "Hey, the cut's a bit longer now."
Oh, sure. Okay.
So they changed it to set 2.
Yeah. Okay, and I guess that kind of leads in nicely too when 2 hard control decks meet each other in the finals and the semi-finals.
Play again.
And you play 2 games of Star Wars Unlimited and then 1 game of, I don't know what it's called, because you're just randomly healing your base as much as possible.
Yeah, I think like a few people have given them a bit of slack for it. I know I've taken the mick out of it as well.
It just is what it is, right?
It does feel like a rough way to win a tournament. Like, you've gone all this way and you win it because you killed initiative.
And I don't think it has any bearings on the players. The players are playing within, they know the rules, they're playing with the confines of the rules, and they win within the confines of the rules. I think the problem is the rules.
Yeah. Underworlds used to have similar stuff. So when it looked like that your game was going to go to time, it would be whoever scores the most glory.
Right.
As the first kind of tiebreaker. So then, if you are tied on glory, it's then who holds the most objective. So you would completely change the way you play your game.
Yeah.
And there were times where I'd won games because I'd literally just put a dude on a square and just not played the game at all. And just gone, cool, I win.
Yeah.
But like you said, the rules as written, he played the game in a way that he was able to win the rule.
Yeah.
But I don't think he intentionally tried to play that, because you can see how bloody stressed it.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing literally his semi-finals and his final games were against the 2 decks that he wouldn't have wanted to see, the 2 palps that had just avoided Sabines again like throughout the whole of the top cut. Like their runs, like the two Paps run through the top cut was the dream. So for him to hit the semis and then win it, and then get into the finals and then win it again, like the only way he probably could have won it is by having the time restrictions and playing it how he did. Because if there were untimed, there's no way he would have won either the semi-finals or the finals. I don't think. Maybe he could have got one, but I think, you know, Palp has such a bigger top end.
Yeah.
That
it would have been double loss, right?
Yeah. If either of those games happened in Swiss, it's double loss. And he wouldn't. I don't think he would have won if they had a limited time. I think we were a Palp final, and one of the Palps obviously would have won. But he just, you know, played within the confines of the rules and managed to get a tournament win, which is great. Fair enough. Big clap. Like, it's well deserved because that is still the rules that everyone is playing by in that situation, right? So it's good. I just don't think it is an exciting finish to, you know, 2 days, the biggest tournament of the set. One of the biggest tournaments in...
It's the biggest, I think.
I think it's the biggest.
I think it's the biggest.
Well, for set 3, definitely. London had 222. And I think some of the Gen Cons were quite big. But, you know, we're talking probably top 5 biggest tournament going. If not top 3, you know. And it just kind of finishes on some weird, you know, subnet of the rules that most players probably don't even know or understand.
You don't really have to think about it until that situation, right?
Yeah.
I didn't realise they changed it. I thought it was still, and a lot of people in the chat as well, still thought it was based on how much damage you had
done in the last game and the game before, multiplied by pi divided by 16. Yeah. At least they got rid of that. That was really dumb. But I think
this now leans into the question, like, what is better? Like, if they don't get rid of the time limit, what is a better way to deal with it?
Good question. Don't play hard control, people. It's really boring.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer.
Problem solved.
But yeah, how do you?
I don't know.
How do you do it? Like,
yeah, it's rough. I'm still not. We did. I say I'm still not entirely sure that the format needs to be best of 3.
Really?
Like, imagine if it wasn't. Imagine if it was. Imagine what you'd do to decks. Like, it would probably bring everything down in curve, I reckon. I think aggro would be a lot more popular. You would never play hard control because you'd be too scared that you just get run over. And it will probably...
You're just getting rid of, like, 30% of the game. Right?
Wow. Maybe. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Like, when you're... Like, I would just be interested to see a big tournament try it. Just to see what happens with deck selection. Because I think it would change. I think, you know, if you're building your deck, you know you're in best of 1. You're not going to put 10 2-drops in and be like, I can mulligan, and if I don't get a turn 1 play, 1 round, I've still got 2 more games to pick it up. So you'll end up hitting more lower end in to guarantee that you've got game early on, because you don't want to lose the game by not playing anything turn 1 or turn 2, do you? So I think the way that the deck building process would change in a best of 1 format would just be interesting. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I'd say it would be interesting.
It would definitely be more aggro, surely. Like,
yeah, I mean, Destiny. Go back to my boys. The Destiny days. It was best of 1, 35-minute rounds.
Was it?
Yeah, 40-card decks.
You finished the tournament. I'm in time for 2.
Yeah, well, it's because also, you know, you started with a lot of damage presenting on the table, right? Because you had your characters in play, and all you were playing were events and upgrades on those characters. So it kind of made it. It's a very different game. Is what I'm trying to say there. So that is probably what allowed it to do that as a format. but I was just interested. Like, I think there's not been enough not enough people exploring different formats. What could be done? Like, Hearthstone have really weird. Like, you do best of threes, but you got to take 3 decks with you. I'm not saying you should probably do that for 3 because physical card games expensive. Blah blah blah. But you had 3 decks with you, and you had to win with 2 of them to win your best of 3. Like, imagine if
I would love that to be Worlds. Like top 8, you get to the top 8 cut of Worlds, and like you have to use a different deck.
Worlds needs to be draft and constructed, but that's a conversation for another time. That's the other thing. Like, I played the Super Draft on the Sunday. I lost both my games by 1 hit point. It's unfortunate, so I didn't get to go into the finals and play for the prizing. But draft is such an important part of card games, and the biggest drafts you ever get to go to are these super drafts that they do, which still only have 15, 20 people in them. Because you do the pods, and then they take the top 4 from each pod and make another pod, and then you've still got your same deck, and then you're just battling out again, which is like really interesting. And Flesh and Blood do like 3 rounds of constructed, 3 rounds of draft, 3 rounds of draft for the World Championships. And you can go, you go to a PQ and you can win 8 games of constructed, lose 6 games of draft, and not make day 2. Because it's not all about constructed. Which currently SWU is all about constructed. Let's get Twin Suns. One round of Twin Suns. Let's go.
Yeah. And it's weird, really, isn't it? Because each set is built in such a really cool way for draft.
Yeah.
Right? They're all really good in their own bubble. And I think I have really enjoyed all the drafts and all the pre-releases. Like, that format is
good.
Great.
A lot of thought went into it, for sure.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see something at Worlds that includes it more predominantly within the format, because
building a deck on the fly is pretty quite a skill. So
and
always good to go.
For sure. I think that was everything on the agenda. We might get this one under 45 minutes, guys.
Oh, we might do.
Any final thoughts, Stephen?
We've found out when our store showdown is.
We did.
Quite excited about.
3 weeks.
Found that out today. Yeah. I
like
the
Christmas
store
party
showdown.
the day before.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Something you're playing Sabine that day, my dude.
Maybe.
Yeah. Keep it simple. Keep it stupid.
Do what Sean did with X-Wing and bring the most complicated.
Harm 2. Let's go.
Yeah.
Harm 1. Double yellow. Yeah.
But I'm excited. I really like store showdowns. I think they are what SWU is all about.
Yeah.
I really like them. Everyone gets excited for them. Apart from Jamie, because there's not a cut. He doesn't see that box.
Furious.
Furious.
I'd like to see it. I'd love to do a draft showdown. That'd be great.
Cool.
And they can. There's no rules.
I think a few.
Do it this way.
Yeah, I think a few shops in America did draft.
I've definitely seen sealed as well.
Yeah, or sealed. So, like do a sealed one, because you still do the same rounds and all of that. It's just something different, isn't it? Like.
But I'm looking forward to store showdown season. Get to travel to some local stores.
Say hello to the boys.
Find out when.
The other ones are.
Find out when they all are.
Yeah.
So that'd be cool. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to absolutely kicking everyone's ass with Finn on Thursday, because Finn and the Mandalorians is sick.
This is like I was like listening to Jamie and being like, yeah, Hero Boba Green. I've cracked it, boys. I've cracked it.
Such a random choice to go to.
Sure, you cracked it, mate. You'd cracked it.
And he had that very false sense of security, didn't he?
With 4-0.
Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, still Shadow. I'm excited. I've had a week off playing, so I'm looking forward to playing Thursday.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. I played all weekend. I'm still looking forward to playing on Thursday. Woo. Jay,
That's a good sign. Sorry.
No, you've had your moment, Stephen. You've taken us over 45 minutes now. 45 and 10 seconds. You ruined it. Jay.
I'm just looking forward to playing some games. I'm playing a bit. Playing some new decks.
Gonna play Tick?
Yeah. I'm going to be playing Tick. For sure. I'm playing some double yellow Han.
Yeah, I think I'm also on the double yellow hard. Just practice it, you know, for when the Europeans decide to just go, we're playing hard control now.
No, that DJ's deck. Not the standard 47 card deck.
I put them in the deck now as well. It's good. It's a lot better.
Oh, you went, were you?
I did it. Yeah.
Steve wasn't there.
No, he wasn't. He didn't know.
Danny kindly let me borrow his Han deck because I didn't have a few of the cards. And I got to play Jamie game 1. And my only out was, it's okay, I'll draw DJ in a minute. After the game, I was like, where are my DJs? What the hell's going on? I went through, Danny, there's no DJs in this deck. Like, where is DJ? It's like the only card you need.
And my only thought was, have you counted how many cards are in the deck? And he did, and there were 47.
47 cards.
And then...
So not only did Jamie win that week, he
played against an illegal deck.
Won and played against a legal deck.
Scumaz.
That guy.
Even when I got home and grabbed the remaining sleeves that were in the same colour, there were 3 of them left. I think that would have been a giveaway when I picked that, because I even put the sleeves back in. I remember picking them. Ooh, 3 sleeves, nice. Pop them back in, and hey ho.
Whoops.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, but before we scoot, I just think it shows testament to what good spot the game is in.
Yeah.
If after a long weekend in Birmingham, sharing a room the size of was it a big Airbnb?
It was not.
No. It was not. You were all crammed into that room.
Yeah.
Crammed in there for a weekend.
It's a studio.
Yeah, that you're looking forward to playing some Swoosh still on Thursday. You don't think I'll probably have a break this week.
I didn't go and play through this evening though. I thought that was a bit too soon. Not soon enough for Michael though. I think he's going down the Palp route. He might have fallen to evil, but we'll find out on Thursday.
Oh, what, the one he lost to on stream?
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
That was a
No. Old Palp. Not new Palp. No, not that flippy nonsense. Anyway, we're going to get it under 50 minutes. That is a record. Good job, team. We'll see you next time. Rather be lucky than good. That's always my sign out.
Oh, I've done it again.
Oh, the balloon.
This is the Alliance Dispatch. Over and out.